Well, how you doing this terrific Tuesday there, little guys and gals? Hopefully doing outstanding. It's Tuesday, August 22nd, year 2023. Yes. And if you're an investor, you realize this, but sometimes the hardest step is to get started. And that doesn't matter if doesn't, I'm tripping over my words this morning. Excuse me. Doesn't matter if it's the first step to investing, the first step to going to school when you're a little kid, the first step if you're a parent, releasing your child from under your wings when they're ready to branch out in the world. Doesn't matter if you're like in your mid 30s and you want to change your eating habits to become healthy when you haven't been healthy all your life, or start an exercise program. It's always that first step is the hardest step. So, how do you build the courage, the strength, the motivation to take that first step? That's what I'm going to talk about a little bit here this morning. Okay, so with that being said, I am Mazske Finance. I am not a financial advisor, not a CPA, not an attorney, not a doctor, not a nutritionist, nothing like that. Alrighty, so that first step, how do you do it? Part of it is perhaps the way we're born, maybe something in our brain, okay? It's what I call that grit, that how-to, that pull yourself up by your bootstraps, the get going type thing. Part of it is how we were raised. Part of it is, no matter what your age, what can you do with the power of the mind? Okay? What kind of willpower do you have? What kind of desire do you have? What kind of motivation do you have? What kind of encouragement do you have? I'm here, hopefully, to encourage all of you to become better investors, become better at living a healthy lifestyle, just become better at everything that you do, okay? To make conscious decisions about everything you do. That's my goal. None of us are perfect. I am not perfect, okay? I talk about eating healthy. I talk about doing this and doing that. I can't always 100% follow my suggestions either. I might be in the grocery store. What do they do when you walk in? I go to the right. What's in the right? All the pastries, the donuts, the cakes, the pies, the this, the that. Want to go to the left? What's to the left? That's the ice cream and all that stuff. Okay, you want to go down the middle? What's down the middle? It's everything else, all the sugary foods, all the ultra processed foods. You got to bypass all, no matter which way you go, you got to bypass that to get to maybe the produce section. Some grocery stores, maybe you got the produce first. I've been in grocery stores like that. The one I go to now, produce is not first. You got to pass by the, in big quotes, the bakery section. Okay? So you got to have willpower to resist, right? If you go out, I'll make an example. If you go out to a club sometime, you're the designated driver. Do you resist drinking? If you're a non-drinker, yeah, it's easy. You just don't drink. But say you are always one of those drinkers, and now tonight you're the designated drinker. Can you resist, or do you just have one? Just have two. And then you have one or two, it turns to three. That sort of thing. What kind of person are you? What kind of choices do you make? What kind of decisions do you make? So with investing, like I read something the other day, I think it was on CNBC. It was an interesting stat. I believe, don't hold me to this, never hold me to anything. I believe it said 37% of investors that they surveyed or whatnot, they talked about having cash savings. The ones that had cash savings, I guess, only 37% of them put them into high yield savings accounts. The other 63%, I guess, or so, kept them in the money, the cash, in their local bank account, I guess. Local bank accounts normally pay, like I have some credit unions, they pay like 1/4%, something like that. My high yield savings account with Wealthfront, I'm getting 5.3%. 1/4%, 5.3%. That's a big difference, okay? But people cannot take that step. They just got to do it, but they don't do it. It's like I learned something a long time ago. Especially when I was younger, I like to sleep. I didn't like to get up in the mornings. Nowadays, I want to sleep, and I still get up early in the mornings. But I like to sleep, and my clock would go off, I hit snooze, and finally I get up, okay? And finally, one day I said to myself, instead of hitting snooze, if I just take my feet and throw them out of the bed onto the floor and stand up, odds are I'm not going to just plop back down in the bed. If I stand up, I'm going to start walking to the bathroom. And once I ingrained that in my mind, it takes practice. Then that's what I started doing. I stopped hitting snooze all the time, and I'd get up and I'd go, or maybe I hit snooze once, and then I'd say I got to put my feet down on the floor. Once I did, I got out of bed and went on with my day. Okay, it's the same thing with investing. When I made the decision to invest in mutual funds, I had read start an allotment. I was in the military. Start an allotment for your paycheck. Put $50 a month or whatever you're putting in, and then you won't notice it missing. I did that in my entire working career. Basically, I put money into accounts. That whole thing, you won't notice it missing. I noticed it missing. I never made a lot of money, and I was always like, man, that's $50, $75 coming out of my paycheck when I'm only getting a $200 paycheck. I feel it. So I did notice it. Okay, because I never made a lot of money in my life. All right, but I stuck with it through thick and thin. Through thick and thin, I stuck with it. Okay, so I don't know. I just don't know. I'll share a story with you. Something I did. This popped in my mind the other day. I remember attending a New Year's Eve party back when let me think what car I was driving. It was probably when I was 18 years old. I totaled my car when I was 16. My first car was my second car. I could have been 17. I could have been 18. Okay, it was a New Year's Eve party and I was drinking. It was back in the 80s. I was drinking, and I was smoking. I smoked Marlboro, a box usually, soft pack if I could get a box. All right, I think cigarettes back then were $1 a pack. And I remember just that night, for whatever reason, it was New Year's Eve, leaving that party to go home for probably 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it was. I was by myself for just that time. I just remember I was by myself. Usually I had somebody with me, or I was with somebody else. So I was by myself, and I was driving, and I pulled a cigarette out to light it, and I was like, wait a second. I've been talking about quitting smoking. It seemed like forever, but I was still young. And I took my cigarette and I threw it out the window. My pack of cigarettes, and I had been drinking too. I was probably drunk. My pack of cigarettes, I was like, screw this. I threw it out the window. I was like, I'm done. I'm quitting. Now, a week or so later, I picked another pack up and started smoking again. But then, to make a long story short, I struggled with that at different times as a teenager. One time I was working landscape, and I had those guys that were dipping a lot, and I was like, well, let me try dipping to quit smoking. And I started dipping, and I was like, whoa, this is more addicting than smoking. It's like that nicotine's just going right into you. It's more, and I quit the dipping to go back to smoking. But I quit smoking. I quit it to join the Navy. In the Navy, then we'd have Coke and smokes in boot camp. And I was like, Coke and smokes? I sit out there with a Coke, and all these people were smoking, because back in the 80s, a lot of people smoked. All these young guys are smoking. I was like, man, I just quit to come in the Navy. Now it's like Coke and smokes. So about halfway through boot camp, I was like, can I bum a cigarette? And then I started smoking again, a little bit, casually. But then by the time I was 21-ish or so, I quit completely. All right, haven't smoked a cigarette ever since. All right, so what's that say about me? I struggled with making a decision. Okay, I told you the other day I share everything about my past and the present and my thoughts and my desires and this and that. Okay, so you just learned a little story about me. All right, and that was, 30-some years ago. That was a long time ago. So anyway, with investing, I know it's hard to do. I communicate with a lot of people. I lose track of how many people I email, text, talk to on the phone. I apologize for that. Sometimes I ask somebody, have we talked yet? Because I lose track. So if you want to invest, you just got to do it. You just got to jump sometimes. You can listen to me talk about buying in Northwest Indiana, Gary, Indiana. You can hear about other people buying in Gary, Indiana. You can hear about people buying in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can hear about people buying in Memphis, Tennessee. You can hear about people in your hometown, wherever you live at, buying rental property there. You just got to make your mind up where you want to buy at and do it. If you've never bought a single one, for the first one, you'll probably make a mistake. You might even make a bad buy. That's okay. As long as you don't go bankrupt, that's okay. We learn. Okay, you can buy a bad buy today, and 30 years from now, it's a great buy because inflation and rents go up, and you pay the mortgage off, and this and that. So don't stress about getting the perfect buy. Okay, do try to find the correct market for yourself. Do try to have boots on the ground. Do try to have a good property manager and good contractors lined up. But don't have analysis paralysis. Just do it. Okay. In regards to eating healthy, I know it's hard to do. I know it's hard to do. So I'm not telling you, even though I have said, cut out ultra processed foods. I'm not telling you to do this. What I'm telling you to do is add to your diet. Make some changes to your diet on which you eat. Choose to eat nuts every day. Walnuts are super healthy. Almonds, cashews, pecans, even peanuts, other kinds of nuts. They're all healthy. Choose to get some seeds, some chia seeds, some flax seeds. Sprinkle it on your yogurt, your oatmeal, your whatever. Put it in some recipes. Just slowly add it to your diet. Choose to eat maybe broccoli instead of, I don't know, mashed potatoes, just to get something different, some diversity. Or choose to buy some asparagus because you never eat asparagus and just steam it. It's easy. Get a little steamer, a little pot that has a little insert where you put a little water in the bottom and you can steam it. It's easy. Okay. What about getting a pack of mushrooms sometimes? And maybe you're going to cook eggs because you eat eggs all the time. Just clean the mushrooms off because a lot of times they have a little dirt and stuff on them. Take a little knife and just cut them up into pieces and get a little extra virgin olive oil and just cook them at a low temperature. Soften them up. Maybe add a little red onion to it. Add a little red pepper to it. This morning I had eggs. I had red onion, red pepper, red chili pepper. Made a mistake. I rinsed my hands a couple times. I had to wipe my eye at one point this morning, and it was still hot, spicy. Mushrooms. I added 4 or 5 mushrooms to it. Add my turmeric. Do you have any turmeric? Did you buy any turmeric? Get a little turmeric. Just start adding it. Put it in this. Make a pot of soup. Soup might not be super healthy, but sprinkle a little turmeric in it, a little black pepper, just little changes, okay? And have a goal. Just set goals. Have a goal, maybe one new kind of food, fruit, vegetable, nut, seed, a bean. It's good to eat beans every day or as much as you can. Mushrooms, add one a week if that's all you can do. If all you can save is $5 a week, well, save $5 a week. If next week you can save 15 or 20, save 15 or 20. Take little steps. Don't sit down and say, I want to be like Mazske and be financially independent. I want to be like Grant Cardone and get a private jet. No, you are yourself. You're in your starting spot. It's your journey through life. If you have a partner, it's you and your partner's journey through life. Maybe you have children. Okay, it's your individual personal journey through life. Okay, no one gives you a book on how to manage your money when you get a paycheck. No one gives you a book on how to manage your spouse, your partner when you get into a relationship. No one gives you a book when you have a child on how to raise that child. Okay, no one gives you a book on how to invest. No one gives you a book on how to eat healthy. But you can buy books on how to invest and how to eat healthy, okay? Or you can watch YouTube channels. Maybe you don't want to read. I know the younger generation, I'm just generalizing here, doesn't like to read. I talk to some people about reading sometimes. They don't want to read. They want to listen. They get Audible books. They don't want to read. We all have 24 hours in the day, okay? We make our own choices. It's our individual journey. What I do is not what you do. Okay, maybe I'll meet some of you. I like to meet people. I love meeting people. I love to meet all of you. If you subscribe to my channel, I want to meet you sometime. If I meet you, it doesn't mean we're going to become best friends. I might get a cup of green tea and you might drink a beer. I might get a beer and you might drink a cup of coffee. I might drink water and you might eat a Whopper, I might be skinnier than I am now and you might be 500 pounds. Or maybe you'll say, Mazske, guess what? I'm eating healthier and I'm buying rental property and I'm buying mineral rights. Just one step at a time. One house at a time. 1 acre at a time. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't get too big for your britches, as they say, and just get started. Get started if it's eating healthy. Get started if it's exercising. If you're sitting around watching TV tonight, when it's a commercial or a break, if you're watching Netflix and there's no commercials, pause it. And get down on the floor, do a couple push-ups, do a couple crunches, do a couple body weight squats, just a couple. If you don't do them normally. If you're sitting at your desk and you're at work sneaking watching this video, wiggle your feet a little bit, get up, walk around, take a walk down to the restroom and just walk. Just get out of your chair, okay? It's your life, though. You got to make your choices, your decisions. But the first step is the hardest, so just learn to take it. Take that first step, all right? So that being said, Max is going to take the first step to ending this video. Have a great day. Enjoy yourself. I'll keep you posted on my life. Comment below and keep me posted on your life. Stay safe. Maskies, signing out.